Okay, so last time you saw us, we were on a different couch, and we said we were probably going to keep it because no one's going to buy it. That didn't happen. Someone bought it for probably much less than we should have sold it for.
Yeah, I think we got $50 for it.
Yeah, which is like, I don't know. Used couches are hard to sell. Regardless, we sold all the things. And, well, mostly I sold all the things.
You did all the work of selling things. I just lifted the couch out of that house.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
my part.
and dealt with the somewhat neurotic person that bought it. But look, we have a house now. Nope, it's not the house we've been working on.
But we live here now, as you can see by all the clutter. So yeah, couch. That's our couch update. This is our pretty pink couch that we had in the apartment. And the cat has found where the laps are again. So she's happy. But we moved in. We finished the kitchen remodel. That's been most of the work here.
And it's so cute.
So much cuter than before.
It took 8 hours to unpack the kitchen, which seems criminal.
But let's go on a little tour. The countertop and the sink, I'm very pleased. This was the new counter we got to replace the butcher block. Although there is one minor problem. We'll see if you can figure it out. We'll tell you what it is at the end. Other than that, so the counter is in. Quartz counter over there, quartz counter over here. I took that piece of butcher block and cut it down and used it as the side table. So a small portion of it remains here, mounted with these very intense iron supports underneath. They say it's rated to 500 pounds, although I haven't actually tested that in practice yet. Had to cut this little corner here so that we don't jab ourselves getting into the cabinets. This drawer opens up most of the way. We intentionally did not let it open all the way because we wanted more counter space. But this is our breakfast nook.
And our dinner nook and our lunch nook.
It's all the nooks. It's where we eat since we don't have a table in the middle of the room.
Because where the table would go is taken up by my live streaming equipment and my work from home desk and the my workout equipment and the prodigious amount of stationery that I own. And two 1980s Macs that Aaron has adopted.
Oh, yeah.
And I have given hats.
Yeah, the whole live streaming kit is set up now. Most of the gear lives under there. And then it's just the little mic and cameras and screen up here. So you did a live stream just the other day. Anyway, back to the kitchen. So the sink and the faucet are great. The new dishwasher is in. It is same size as before, but now it's stainless steel and much quieter. It's so quiet when it runs. It's incredible. It was a little bit skinnier than the space available, so I had to have the contractor come in and add these little strips of wood, which I'm going to finish so that they are match this color a little better. But now it looks like it's nicely tucked in and built in. The big upgrade, though, is the stove, the range, because this was 20 inches before, so it stopped there. So we got 4 inches of extra stovetop now just by scooting all those cabinets that way. And this is such a better stove. It's got the nice glass top, not induction. The only induction option this small was like $3,000, and I was not willing to spend that money. But
this was a little more expensive than what you originally budgeted, though, right?
only like $100 more. It wasn't that bad. The original one that I found just wasn't in stock until September, and we obviously can't wait that long.
Yeah, because we live here and we need an oven.
Yeah, and a stove.
We're actually right after this about to make nachos.
Yep. But yeah, so much nicer. The only slightly weird thing is it came with this little backsplash for it that's also black. Couldn't install it because this light switch is in the way. It would block it. It would have come up to about here. So that's just not there. I might have them like add a quartz backsplash on the back later. I don't know yet. It could either go up past the outlet and cut a hole for it, or we could try to move the outlet up, but that's starting to get into too much work that I don't want to do. That's probably not even going to happen until we move out of this in 6 months anyway.
You will notice that I put a kind of fake backsplash of our sample
yeah.
of the quartz that's going in our final kitchen.
Exactly. This one, that's going to be our main counter. It's very pretty. The only weird thing that happened with the stove, it barely fit. We had to move the fridge out of the way in order to slide it in because there's zero wiggle room from side to side. And it clears everything here except that this cabinet pulls out and it hit the little arm here. So I actually had to cut this piece of wood, and you can probably tell that I messed it up pretty bad. I tried to hide it and failed. So, oops. And you can't really get this cabinet anymore. So I might try to track it down from like some eBay listing at some point to replace that front, but it's really hard to match, to get this to match, because this is the old IKEA style. Anyway, it doesn't hit it anymore. Now there's clearance, so everything's fine. It's just a little bit ugly on the side. My fault. We did not change the fridge. That fridge was there. Oh, the outlets. I redid all the outlets. There's a whole outlet saga that happened. So this stove, you may remember the switch, which is here, which is the garbage disposal, which is also like terrible placement for a garbage disposal switch. But there was a plug here, and I was like, this seems like a bad plan for everybody. Like, you're never going to want to plug something in over the stove, ever. That doesn't make any sense. So I shorted it in the box, but it was a GFCI breaker, and it was protecting other outlets in the kitchen, so I had to track down which outlet that was, and it turns out it's the outlet way over there. So I had to add a GFCI over there. So now this one's GFCI, and I made it have USBs while I was at it, because why not? And then this outlet behind the coffee pot was GFCI already, and it turns out it's protecting the outlets behind there, which doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why it's all crossed over. That one protects those. That GFCI protected that, which is very confusing. Anyway, so I just replaced that one anyway because the other one looked ugly. And now that's fixed and better. Those are protected. And then because we added this countertop, these outlets are now counter outlets, which means they also need to be GFCI. And they weren't before because they were, 4 feet above the floor. So I had to add a GFCI here and then tied this one to that one. And they all have USBs. You can get GFCI outlets with USB ports, which is super cool. So now we can like charge phones or whatever from the little table that we're working at. So that was the kitchen project. Only minor issues getting everything installed. You can see the countertop guy made a bit of a mess of the paint job there. Bumped it there, so I have to touch that up. But other than that, it's in pretty good shape.
Do you have enough hands to show them how cool it is that the cutting board fits in the sink?
Yeah.
It's like my favorite. This sink is so deep, and it's as deep as our new sink will be,
Right.
but smaller.
Yeah.
And it has already changed my life. Like, the day we moved in, we had to make a bunch of coffee for the bike move, and having had, I don't know, 18 years of experience brewing coffee with a large percolator and air pot, I had never done it in a sink that had this much height, and I didn't have to do any awkward stuff to fit it in. The cat has now left my lap, so it's legal for me to move.
Oh, excellent.
She didn't like my excitement, I guess, over this. But this is so cool. And then we have these little, whatever. This is a house channel. We can talk about house things, even though they're kind of weird. So we have these little things from IKEA, which I totally recommend, which let you, when you're chopping a bunch of different foods, you can like put, if you, like onions and garlic, you need to like get somewhere else because they go in at a different time than like your carrots or whatever. We have like multiple of these, and this works so well. And what I love about the little handles on this is that when you're chopping and you have like the tail ends of something, you can like knock it down there. Also, because we are under residential trash service now, which we've been under commercial for quite a long time, where we've had to have dumpsters, which means that you don't get you don't get municipal food composting, and like no apartment building includes that because frankly, in an apartment building, it's like impossible to get the right things put in the food compost. But we have it now. So now we're able to use the municipal composting. We also have a yard, so I could have my own compost pile again if I wanted to. So anyway, I'm in love with this. It is really big, so it's sort of like I'm not using it when I'm just chopping a small thing, but when I'm making like a stir fry, I'm using it. But this is so deep. It's so deep. It's great.
Yeah, I can't believe the other sink. Like we didn't. This is the same base cabinet as before. Like the literal same base cabinet. Actually, no, it's not. We replaced it because it was the other one was more.
Right.
But it's the same size, and the doors are the same. We added the doors to the new one.
And we can still fit a lot underneath it too. So like, I know a lot of people are always like, oh, well, you don't want to get a deep sink because then. But this is. We've got glass recycling. We've got 2 things of dishwasher tablets. All of our cleaning stuff are oil for the butcher block. I mean, like it's a pretty sizable amount of stuff there.
And I love that this sink is so big and it fit in the same base cabinet, and the old one was so tiny and so useless.
It's also really easy to clean thus far. I have a lot of opinions on cleaning after spending quite a lot of time cleaning our old apartment for move out.
Yeah.
Okay, I think this is probably all anybody wants on the update on the kitchen. But it's very cute. Like, you know, I have dreams about decorating it where I might like to do certain things a little bit more. But this is already, like, frankly, both cuter and more functional than our old kitchen was, which is kind of ridiculous because it's definitely, technically, I think the same amount of cabinet space as the old one, if you include our faux island.
Oh, right, yeah.
But, you know, this has been a little bit of a storage issue, which is that we had extra beer from the bike move, and we have to figure out where to put it. But
we haven't even mentioned the bike move.
Yeah, we had a bike move. A video will be forthcoming about it on the Bike Stuff PDX channel, and we will link to it and maybe even do like a little preview on this channel when we do it. I also did a live stream where I talked a little bit about it on my channel. So I don't know if we're gonna like there's gonna be plenty of media about the bike move.
Yeah.
So, but we moved in with the help of 70 people on bikes.
Yep.
Bathroom update. I can lead you. It's my wardrobe. Bathroom update. It's very cute. I will say this is tight. This is smaller than our old bathroom. Mm-hmm. If you look this direction, you're like, look how cute. If you look this direction, you're kind of like, interesting. We're still working out storage solutions for this side. It's not like terrible, but it's not great. It doesn't live up to the cuteness of this.
I did find a litter box that matches the same blue as everything else. I was very pleased about that.
We do need one of those little litter keepers because
yeah.
I just am constantly having to.
This was a temporary location for the food because we were trying to lock the cat in here for the first day, which really did not last long at all.
It lasted about 3 minutes.
Yeah, but this is where our food has been because there's been nowhere else in the living room for it until we have been organizing things. But the ants already found it, so.
We're working on that.
That's going away, and now we have a ant-proof solution for food. So.
And this is like if you have a small bathroom, this double towel rack.
Oh yeah.
I wish we had installed this in our old apartment years ago because we had one rack this size, and both of our towels would have to like try to fit side by side. So if we both took showers around the same time of day, neither of our towels would dry.
Yeah.
So the double towel rack is great. I don't know if people want to tour upstairs. Do they want to tour upstairs?
Probably.
It was like a pile of boxes. But this is the cat's new favorite toy, the stairs, as predicted. So they are covered in cat toys.
Yeah.
So it's tight up here.
Honestly, this bed is too big for this upstairs space, but we didn't want to deal with changing the bed.
Yeah. And is it really too big? It's not too big if this is used as a short-term rental.
Yeah,
it's too big if you're trying
adding
to
shelves
fit
on both
all
sides
of your clothes in it. So, you know, things are not 100% worked out up here yet, but it is functional. We can live in it. And this is, once again, it's only temporary. So the amount of time we spend making things look just perfect is maybe not worth it.
I am pleased that my little gray cloth shelves fit very well in that corner. Lily found this cool rod that mounts to the wall that turns it just into like a floating hanger. Very cool. And then all of my IKEA shelves from the office now live up here and are various.
Well, and Aaron changed the knobs on them just so that they all look very sleek.
I changed the knobs to match the same knobs that I changed out in the kitchen, so they all match now.
All together, I think this is.
Oh, our little office up here.
Oh yeah. So, I mean, we really, because like Aaron took a bunch of the printers. That's how many printers we have. Aaron took a bunch of the printers down there. But we pretty much, almost everything is just transposed from how it was in our office before. But look how perfectly our existing wardrobe fit into here.
It fit exactly to the top. It's wild.
Yeah.
And then this laser printer fit pretty well here. So this is the same shelf it was on in the office before.
It's not perfect because it kind of opens the opposite way that you would want it to open. But and then like our priority mailboxes and stuff are down there. But this is going to work great. And, you know, all of our shipping stuff is in here, as well as like our label printer, which we're using a lot less frequently than we were when we were printing labels for moving. But I literally packed that label maker 10 minutes before we moved.
We were using it up until...
I was using it up until 10 minutes before we moved,
yeah.
So that's pretty much it. I think
so.
That's we moved into the ADU update.
Yeah.
We will survive.
We'll survive. It's definitely we've made it pretty cute, I think, and definitely functional. We can manage.
Once again, we moved like 4 days ago.
Yeah.
So please don't judge us for any clutter that's left, because some of the clutter is just necessity of two people and a cat living in a 600 square foot space.
But some of it is still in the process of moving. Like all these boxes on top are not going to be there forever.
Yeah. Also, I own too many bags.
Kittens learn how to use stairs. Oh, we closed the bathroom door. This has to. We need a solution to this. We've trained ourselves to close the bathroom door for so many years because that's always been off limits to the cat.
And now it's where her litter box is.
So we need to make sure we leave it open. And I am so tempted to just cut a hole in the bottom of that door.
We found some very fancy cat doors that like make it look like they're walking into a castle. Yeah. And I'm supportive of a very fancy cat door.
It's a very cheap door. So if I do mess it up, we can just replace the door.
Well, thank you for coming and joining House Files. If you have any hot tips on how to organize that back part of our bathroom without spending an arm and a leg, let me know. Let me know.
Keep in mind, we're only gonna be here for like 6, 7 months, 8 months, maybe.
Really, I just want to be able to keep cleaning products in back stock without it looking like a storage facility back there. Thank you for joining us, and until next time.
Don't build a triplex and don't move into a half-finished house.
It's not half finished.
Did you notice the problem? The sink isn't actually centered in the cabinet. It's a few extra inches on that side compared to that side. You can't really tell. It's fine.